Brick's tank. He bought the wrong something.
That bill looks fine to me.
Yeah, it looks perfectly fine. I don't know what he's talking about right there.
The one thing about comms that was really good to listen to there is, one thing you'll see about a lot of hunters mainly, most of the shot calling comes down to the jungler and the support, but when the hunter is feeling confident, the hunter's mouth will not shut up for most of the game. You see that with some of the biggest names in the hunter role as well. Funballer, you heard him for most of the time there. He was leading from the forefront, like, you protect Cuvo, Fred if he goes in, don't take too much poke, let's do this, we'll go back, we'll go Gold Fury. He's actually getting into the groove of this now. Paradigm are looking very good.
Yeah, right now this is Paradigm's game to lose, honestly. Bologna and Bacchus can pretty much just jump on anybody who they want. They can distract them while they're taking the tower. You see Neath bought the Titan's Bane, which is you don't see very often. They have the Titan's Bane, they have the Basset Cats, they have the Nuon minions. They can be able to take down towers really fast.
They're really starting to chunk as well in the team fights. And Fnatic's composition, we talked about so much about what it was all about, but they never really brought it to fruition. It never really went off.
Yeah, they
maybe
kind of just stood around.
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is sort of, I mean, we mentioned it, how mid-game oriented Fnatic's composition was, and Fnatic led the game by 2,000 to 3,000 gold for 30 minutes. 32 minutes, that's pretty much late game right there, snap, action, and Paradigm just turns things around. They realize, hey, our comp's a little bit stronger at this moment of the game.
If you're going to take early mid-game composition, so you've got to make them work for you and actually get more out of it. So you don't get to the stage where, let's be honest, Paradigm, they've gone for the build they wanted to. Yeah, they're not all late-game gods when you look at it on paper, but if you build them a certain way, it can work.
Yeah, and composition doesn't, it's not the end-all, be-all. There's a mid-game composition on Fnatic. That doesn't mean they auto-lose if it's 30 minutes, but there just wasn't enough aggression in the mid-game for it to actually pay off.
No panic coming out of Trickstang there. He took a lot of poke, and eventually he does flop away, but meanwhile, mid-lane, the pressure from the other two.
Big ult.
However, Lobster took a lot of poke then.
That's a big ult out of zeros. It's enough to push the enemy away. Captain Twig lands on one, takes out Lobster. Left-hand side still raging on. Kepri ult forced to be used on the jungler. And with that sort of, that might have been a good retreat for Paradigm, but by scaring Captain Twig off of that, that allows Paradigm to come on back, take out the Phoenix, and take out the support.
Maniac surrounded by 3 there as well. This could be the beginning of the end as Maniac falls down 2 as well. We could end up seeing this one closing out very, very soon. Are they going to end up to push on here? I'm not sure if they're actually going to go in yet. No fire minions pouring down, but he's very close to finishing.
Lobster's the only one dead on the side of Paradigm. Yeah, but it looks like Paradigm is going to play it a little bit safe.
I think it's the wise thing to do.
Agreed.
I could hear churn across the stage. They're really loud right now, and that's really hard to hear normally. We're across the other side of the room to them.
I mean, it's Paradigm, man.
It is Paradigm.
We've seen these guys at land quite a couple of times. They are not the quiet team.
But it's an important thing for him, I think, Paradigm winning this first game as well, because I feel like if Fnatic took this first one, Paradigm would have been down and hard pressed to come back, I feel. The morale would have been very low after the Dignitas games. I spoke to them and they were not happy with their performances then whatsoever. And now coming into this one against Fnatic, this is the one they really practiced for, though, and you can really show that they've come with a game plan. They expected some things out of Fnatic here. They knew Sol was going to go to them. They knew that, and they had plans for it.
Yeah, I mean, Paradigm, I agree. In order for this series to go the way of Paradigm, it's very important for the game 1 to go. This is a team that really rides momentum very well. Fnatic, every team does well after winning, of course, but Paradigm make use of the momentum a little bit more.
Real talk, Beckham. Do you think Sol is useful? After this land so far, because for me, it's kind of waning.
I was actually going to say, how she's not really like carrying like people expect her to.
Exactly.
I mean, she's having good games. She's having a great laning phase, but when it comes to team fights, even some of the best hunters in the world who are playing her in this role, they're not getting the same success as like we've seen on a Freya, for example. When we've seen that go to the role, it's not the same sort of success.
Yeah, it's still kind of shaky because I mean, she'd never been played in SPL before. People have just started playing her recently. I feel like maybe this could be something like, oh, you know, this is a new god. She's really OP. Blah, blah, blah.
It's funny because like we see Jing 10 and everyone's like, all right, we all agree, he's good. Yeah. We see Kepri and everyone's like, all right, we all agree, he's good. Sol, it's still up in the air, but the results speak, you know, the results are speaking here.
I think she had a 40% win rate yesterday.
Yeah, low win rate yesterday.
Big engagement on the right-hand side. Paradigm trying to make their siege. This is Fnatic. This is a really big, important defensive set for Fnatic. If they drop this, they might drop the game. Twig falls down on the ground, but that's after Zeros is already dead, so not a lot of that mage damage going to be used. It's a follow-up. Tower being tanked the entire time by Xayah, and he just doesn't care. This Bologna is a little bit too tanky for Fnatic to really deal with.
That's the end of the game, because that's only one man left standing, and that's Maniac. Maniac left alone now with nothing else he can really do up against this lineup. He's going to go in against 4. Well, sorry, I should say 5. And that will be game 1, going the way of Paradigm. Hey, people were saying it'll go best of 5, and I think that's the case.
Unfortunately for Fnatic, Chuck unable to land the last-minute pentakill in the late game. Who'd have thunk it? But it does go the way, as you said, to Paradigm. A very strong performance by the guys on that team, and a lot of it. I mean, it's hard to really pick a standout player. I think that was an all-in team win.
It was a good performance from all the boys. My question to you, really, Bickham, is game 2 for Fnatic, what would you look to do different?
I'm not sure, honestly. Like, they picked a really mid-game focused team comp, and it didn't really work out for them. Like, they